I know the title of the session and the title description in the session thing makes no correlation, but I would love to share an awesome story with everyone here. So my name is Swiki. I work for Microsoft. I love Xamarin. And I got recently really into Pokemon Go, and then got really into Wizards Unite, the new Harry Potter version of Pokemon Go. So clearly, I really like mixed reality. And so I've been sort of walking around the conference area for like all of yesterday, and dropping blue boxes. So I've kind of lost all my blue boxes. Now, these aren't just regular blue boxes. These are clearly virtual, fake, real boxes. But they are all over the campus, like all over the conference area. And in this session, I'm going to show you how I created the two apps. So one that drops these boxes, and the second that will help all of you help me find my boxes. So yes, it's a game, because I love games. So what are we actually talking about over here? So this is the cool world of augmented reality, right? So this is, I'm not talking about VR with a headset on. We're talking about augmented reality. So any device with a camera on it should be able to sort of project models in points or locations where it's supposed to be there, right? So as that little cool little GIF is sort of showing off over here, the way I like to sort of describe it to everyone who are not familiar with how this works, it's literally just using your camera frames as a canvas and just sort of drawing objects on it. Now, I'm not the greatest graphic designer in the world, therefore, we have blue boxes. But if you were much better at 3D modeling, you can put any sort of object there, i.e. Harry Potter characters or Pokemon. So the way the support works right now, we have, so this is tied into each native platform. So iOS has its own version that's called AI Kit, and Android has its own version that's AR Core. Now, these are native support, native bindings provided to us from Android and iOS that support the whole concept of, hey, I have a device with a camera, it's providing me frames of information of real world, and now it has enough data points that it can start drawing things on it. So this whole section of the stack is controlled and powered by like native components, basically. Now let's step into the world of mixed reality. We've had a bunch of amazing talks through the conference about cognitive services, about image services, all sort of provided by Microsoft. So in this talk, I'll be talking about another service that's provided that's called Azure Spatial Anchors. It was demoed at Build. It's extremely cool, and there's a star next to it because it's still in preview, but it's available to use right now. You get a 1-year free subscription. You can just set up a free account. So what's the point of Azure Spatial Anchors, right? I just told you that each native platform has its own version, and they can sort of do it. Where does Azure Spatial Anchors like sort of provide value? Well, with Azure Spatial Anchors, you can sort of have all of those precise points of interest, but you can share them across different devices. So you can have a team with a bunch of different, one person could be on a HoloLens, another one could be using a UWP app, another one could be using an Android phone, but then everyone involved can be able to see that rendered 3D model through whichever camera they choose to sort of view it through. So that's the beauty of Azure Spatial Anchors. It's been really fun. They've had support, and there's already samples available online right now that support native iOS, native Android. There's a Unity sample, and there's one for HoloLens. But we're in the Xamarin Dev Summit, right? We're not at WWDC or something. So where's the Xamarin support? I've had a lot of people ask me that. So I was like, let me go find out. Why is there no Xamarin support yet, right? So good news, there is Xamarin support. Right? They've actually actively been working on it. They just didn't have it ready to release until now. So not a keynote announcement. Thank you. But I am super proud to announce there's beta bits available. Currently, we're limiting that access only to MVPs. I'll have a link up later on. Anyone who's an MVP in the room right now or watching online, hello online friends, please go in and sign up, and we can get you beta access to these bits. But don't be sad. And I kind of skipped ahead. I was going to have this at the end, but I want to just say it. I'm too excited. We'll have public access for the Xamarin support in like early August. So please keep an eye out. Everything that I'm showing today and demoing today will be available to you in early August. Okay, and I'm doing nothing fancy, trust me. It's really basic, but it's so cool. So yes, so back to the power of where Xamarin and Azure Spatial Anchors could live. So the idea would be Xamarin will help drive the native bits, run it on your devices, and the back end, the supporting services can be a Cosmos DB, can be Azure App Service. You can also sort of extend this based on what you're trying to apply this to. You can also have like an Azure AD based access only. So there's a lot of different, like, depending on what you are trying to achieve, it can support it. So described a lot of cool features. So you have a lot of power here. Okay, what can you do with it? Some ideas. I will be honest, the first 2 points are not me. They're from the Spatial Anchors website itself. But I found it really interesting. A shared calendar app. If it was me, I'd make it a shared DevOps task board, but let's do shared calendar apps. It's super cool. I love this concept. The product design in 3D models, it's talking about IoT devices or big factories where it's hard for people to go down to the actual equipment to see what's going on. But they figured out rendered models, which has IoT devices giving back information, and someone sitting in an office is able to look at what's going on, see readings and charts, and figure out a plan of action before actually going to, the model, like to the actual, machine itself. Building mixed reality and, like I said, mixed reality IoT solutions. I'm very excited about this space. I don't get to work in it every day, therefore I love doing talks like this that lets me explore. It's awesome, the kind of things you can achieve with this. But like I shared before, my great idea for this is I want to build a virtual treasure hunt, man. And that's why I lost all my boxes, and all of you are going to help me find my boxes today. This is version 1. This is alpha of my treasure hunt app. If this works, I promise you, I'm going to have an amazing version of it out soon. We'll all play all over the world. I also want to make my own version of Pokemon Go. Did anyone ever have those virtual pet things? Do you remember those? Now imagine that with Azure Spatial Anchors. It'd be so cool. You can have your own pet with you all the time. You can check on it, feed it, clean its poo, get your friends to clean its poo, because it's shared. I can just give you access to my pet and you take care of my pet for me. I think it's great. I love it. It's the best. I described my game to you, right? So I'm going to show what the code looks like, and I'm going to show, hopefully, my mirroring apps work. But if you want to play along and you want to help me find my boxes, I'll have the slide, I'll have the links up again. But that's where you can go to get the Android app or the iOS app, and you can join in the fun and then explain how it works to you. Because like I said, it's alpha. It's not like the greatest Xamarin app in the world, but it works. So let's see how it was. Let's see how it works. So let me get out of PowerPoint. And let's see. So the first thing you want to see is, OK. So what I have open here is MVPs who already may have access, or when you will be given access. This is like the sample basic app that's available, right? The way it works is, I don't want to go into a lot of the detail of the code. Oh, no. OK, I'm back. Yes. Whoa, I had a Donovan Brown moment. This is amazing. OK, so where most of the magic happens is, this is, OK, yes, it doesn't have my packages. Oops. But if you ignore all the red squiggly lines, this is literally all that's going on. After you scan the environment, like I said, the native support does a lot of the work for you. Azure Spatial Anchors basically just collects all that data and just makes it understandable between the different platforms it supports. So all you're basically doing is, once you have scanned your area, picked up a location and dropped a point, it calls them anchors. It just basically takes that anchor and creates a new cloud anchor for you. And then there's a second step involved in this version of the app where I save, then I take sort of that unique ID associated with that anchor and sort of save it in my Cosmos DB. Thereby, I can share those locations with you, and then you can go hunt for those same spots. So the API docs, implementing this is super simple. It's really, really straightforward. The actual, if you want to see exactly what is going on with the like adding and retrieving and sending the anchor itself. It basically just, whoops, what did I do here? Oh, geez. Okay, don't touch the screen. Okay. All right, so literally, again, grabs this part of the thing, literally just grabs the response and puts it in my sharing service, just grabs that anchor ID that I was talking about. Oopsie. Okay, I'll be very careful here. Okay, the next bit, like I said, Azure App Service or a Cosmos DB, whatever your backend wants to be, you grab the anchor ID, do all the magics to it, and you just, it's a REST call, so it posts it to the system, and retrieving literally works the same way. So the version, so let's call admin and client. So the admin app that I use is doing all of the posting, and the finding app, which I've shared with all of you, is the one that's going to go and find these anchors, okay? And that's going to do the retrieving bit. What else? I wanted to show off something else. Yes. Then now I want to show off something else. So why make my life easy, right? I've been talking about all this native support. One day I asked myself, ooh, I wonder if I can do this in Xamarin Forms. Well, good news, you can do this in Xamarin Forms. You just make native page renderers for each platform, because like I said, this is native support, right? So fun fact, the client app that I used to drop these anchors was that sample that I just showed you. So that's all native. It's in native iOS and native Android. But the apps that all of you have hopefully downloaded and will play along with me are the Xamarin Forms version of what you're literally seeing on the screen right now. So what it's doing is, again, really, really simple. It's just taking that same native logic, but it's just all happening inside a page renderer. I didn't go very complex with it. But like I said, since this is like just an alpha version, this is just sort of what I think could be a way this could be done. So all I do is once I get the response that, okay, hey, in this the user has put in anchor ID, say number 10. So I have retrieved all of the ASA anchor information. And now the system can process it and be like, oh, okay, so this is a spatial anchor. When you're moving the device around the screen, if it finds, okay, this location matches where this anchor is supposed to be, it's going to render it on the screen. So that's all that's happening in anchor looked up. So it like looks, it checks, okay, I've received a session. I have the frame that I'm getting from the camera, correlates the data, it matches, it'll generate your anchor for you. So I honestly thought this would be a lot more complicated. I'm going to be very honest. I thought I'd have to do rocket science. I have to like figure out ML, and I have to go and learn how, what these anchor points are, and understand, okay, it's reading all this frame data. What do I do with it? You don't have to do much. The team is amazing. All you have to do is, just pull in the awesome NuGet package. It does all of it for you. And if you're curious on how it's working, just go explore the package. Go check out the docs, check out their API docs. Amazing, really, really well done. I was able to make all of these samples by just reading the documentation and following their native sample repos. Like, that's it. I didn't do any fancy rocket science over here. Like, I'm not a great Xamarin dev. All of you guys are. So it was amazingly simple how I was able to implement this whole thing. I loved it. So there's a lot more of the code. And like I said, I cannot share these, the whole sample repo with you right now, but MVPs, you can have a look at it. But promise you, early August, as soon as everything is public, this whole repo goes public and you can all play along. And please give me PRs and fix my render models for me, is my humble request. Let me see, was there anything else that I wanted to show? Oh yeah, so I had this question, right? When I was writing this whole thing, like I said, if you're new like me, and have no idea on how the ARKit works or AR Core works, or how our Xamarin support for ARKit and AR Core is, I legit just went and read these 2 blog posts. And I have links for all of this. So this is John Dake in the Xamarin Android and our Xamarin component team. This is his blog post on how Xamarin works with AR Core. He walks through the whole thing. It's super, super simple, talks about how the API basics are. And like I said, I love the fact that it was very similar between the 2 platforms. And that's why I think the understanding was easy for me. But it literally is, there's sessions that is basically all the frames coming in through the camera. Each of the native kits literally just like scan through the area, look for flat surfaces, and you can see like, cool little dots come up that show you, okay, yes, it's figured out these are the surfaces. And so there's the hit test, which is the same in both. It basically just does a sort of a mathematical calculation within the coordinates to see, okay, this is where I'm supposed to place the anchor. And yeah, it's super simple. This was the Android AR walkthrough, and we have a, let's see if, yes, the website is open for me. And this is the similar walkthrough. So we have an iOS 11 ARKit blog post, but this is the iOS 12 ARKit blog post, the updated one. And same process. Larry walked through the whole thing. His sample code is amazing. His rendered model is a lot more prettier than mine because he actually got Xamagons on it. And if you notice, the name of that app is Xamagon Hunt. I failed you all. I couldn't get my Xamagons on. But there are blue boxes, I promise you. So yeah, again, I literally just read these 2 blog posts, and I was able to implement the whole thing. So no rocket science. I'm super happy. I hope it makes you happy. OK, so let me show you what the app does, right? All right. This is the moment of terror for me, always. Okay. Come on. Oh, this is the first time I'm doing it with this device, so I guess that's why it's. Okay, let's unlock this. All right, so this is my personal device, so please ignore all the messages my mother is trying to send to me right now. We are going, so this is literally, sorry, whoops. This is the first sample that I showed you. So this is the sample in the repo that will be provided as part of the Azure Spatial Anchors sample. This is in the same format as all the other native samples. So in case you're confused on what's going on, you can always correlate. Oh, this is how they did it in native Android. This is what's happening in the Xamarin Android version. So I am going to go into the shared demo, because that's what we're doing right now. And let's see if I can get this to work. So I should have probably rehearsed this. I should have tried this out, shouldn't I? Okay, I'm going to hit create. I have faith. Okay, you can see that little progress bar at the top. That little animation goes away. Like I said, alpha, bear with me, when you move the device. It's supposed to just say, like, hey, move the device around to, it's trying to pick up data points and scan the environment so it understands where it can or cannot place objects. Oh no, I reset my whole progress. No! Okay. Please watch me awkwardly not move from this area. Oh, let me try the table. I didn't think. Oh, awesome. Yay. Let me place an anchor. Okay. Can I place it here? No. Can I place it here? All right. Giant blue ball right in front of me. The changing in color is just to show that, yes, success. Yellow, the native system. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, it goes away because it's done with the process. But just if you remember that little yellow ball, it was yellow to say that the native system has dropped the anchor. The green means saving was a success. And this is anchor number 12. OK, so I'm not going to use this to locate that anchor. We're going to play my game now. So let's switch over. I'm going to kill this. And let's move over to QuickTime. Anyone remember the anchor number? 12? 12, yes. Okay. Yeah, this is what I have to remember, those anchor numbers. You have my device? Do you have my device? No, you don't have my face. Let's go to my phone. All right. Interesting. Did I go delete my own app? No, I did not. OK, here it is. So this is Xamagon Hunt. If any of you downloaded it right now, this is what you are seeing. And I have it's so informative, isn't it? It totally explains how this game works. No, it does not. OK, the way the game works is if you click on that little thing that says list of anchors, click me. If you click in there, it goes to my GitHub repo right now. If you scroll down, I have a list of anchors and a little explanation on how the game works. But I'm going to show you how the game works right now. But if you forget, you can always go there and read it. The way it works right now is you hit start here, right? And you see like a little text box that says enter anchor value. So I did number 12 right now, so I'm going to go put in number 12. And I'm going to tap to locate. You can already see the little debug buttons of ARKit in the background. It's already scanning the space, right? So I'm going to hit tap to locate and pray to all the gods that I know that it finds my ball. So let's move this. Guys, it found my blue ball, which now turned into a sphere, but I mean, sphere ball, whatever. But so this was supposed to be a Xamagon. I swear, I tried really, really hard. I need to go talk to my sister, who's actually a graphic designer, and learn how this works. But so yeah, that's the game. And we're all doing it because in real, there's no box in here, right? So apart from how cool and fancy this looks, all I want to highlight is this is the power of Azure Spatial Anchors, right? So now imagine, like all of you have that app right now. You can come up on the stage and you can locate this anchor right now yourself. Number 12 is the one on the speaker's podium, right? So it is really cool for all those actual enterprise applications that I was describing about. It's really cool to make virtual treasure hunts for your friends. It's really cool to make Pokemon Go if you want of your own. But conceptually, it was really, really simple to implement. So if I were to just sort of now look back and think what I had to go through to make this, it wasn't much. Go to the Spatial Anchors portal, start a new trial, open up a new Xamarin project, add in the NuGet packages. And if I were to go by the native approach, which honestly I think was much more value than the forms approach was, now that I did both approaches to give you my honest feedback. I think the native approach was like really, really nice. And so go in there, set up ARKit, have it render your frames, set up ARCore, have it render your frames. As soon as you can get local anchors working, that's it. Hook up Azure Spatial Anchors, set up a backend to save your anchor points and share with your friends, which all of you are now of me. So, so if you now want to genuinely play the game with me to figure out where the anchors are in around the conference space, so if you just look at this list, like I went in and put in the number, you just have to go in and put in that number and be in that space. Move the camera around a bit. I know of two known issues. Number one, the app can crash sometimes. I apologize in advance if the app crashes on you. The second issue I've seen is if you're too close to the object, sometimes it doesn't detect it. But that just might have been me, because I can't do math, and there's a lot of matrix math you have to do for this. So I might have just picked up a wrong XY coordinate, and that's why it's not picking it up. But just walk around the area. And so the descriptions are all in there. So the Blue Door Cafe was my first test, literally the day I landed, just to see if the concept works, and it did. So the other anchors are all around the space over here. There's two at the Microsoft booth. So if you come and find them at the booth and come and show me a screenshot, you're going to make me really, really happy, and I would appreciate that. Yeah, so please play the game. And like I said, I promise as soon as Spatial Anchors is live, my code will go live, and you can all join along. OK, I'm going to switch back to the presentation. OK, so key takeaways, because I love when everyone else has these in their slides, and I want to be a cool presenter now. So the actual anchor object, sharing it between the two platforms is not complicated, because like I said, Spatial Anchors has been really smart about it. They've tried to make our life easy, because they're trying to share it across a lot of different devices. So the two main bits you need to just sort of you'll constantly be keeping track of in your code is the position. So that's literally where the anchor was dropped. And each native platform provides all this information for you. You're not doing any crazy things to get it. It's just something you have to knowingly extract from that local object. And just the information, so like what you want it to render. Which can also be shared between the platforms if you want. So like for me, it's just like the colors change based on what state you're in. So like I do yellow for like you dropped it, it's processing the point. Green, that okay, success, it saved your point. Another thing you need to remember is, so the per platform, like I said, ARKit, ARCore, SceneKit, Scene View in Android, sorry. They already do a lot of the bulk of the work for you. So it's literally just initializing those views and just feeding and reading data from it. And then, like I was talking about, you move around. you have to have a minimum amount of data for it before it can place objects for you. So that's a little progress that was showing up. So you move around the space that you're in and you collect all that data, then you can place and remove your object. In my ASA common that I showed you, that common shared folder, that's where I have all the REST API calls to sort of give the anchored information to spatial anchors and also put it in my Cosmos DB right now. Like I said, shared service, you can go crazy with it. The samples give you an app service example and a Cosmos DB example, and I literally just did everything that was in the sample code. I've not done anything special of my own over here. This is what will be available when this goes live. And yeah, so like I said, you can add a login control if you want to do that shared Azure DevOps board maybe, and only give people in your team access to hey, look at what's going on in the board. And yeah, integrate with IoT devices. There's a lot to do. This space is amazing. So I jumped the gun on this, but like I was saying in the beginning, Xamarin support is coming. It'll be out early August. MVPs, again, watching online in the room right now, you can go to this AKA MS link. It's a form fill out, and the Azure Spatial Anchors team will reach out to you and give you access. So you'll get the early beta bits. That's literally what's driving these apps right now that I demoed, and you'll get access to that sample code, again, which is literally driving what I showed right now. And yeah, so early August, everybody else will get access. All of this will go live. They're working really hard on the documents and on the samples. So MVPs, if you are opting in to get access, please, please provide feedback. I've been giving feedback to the team. They love hearing feedback. It'll just make everyone's life like a lot better. And yeah, so the public launch for Xamarin iOS and Xamarin Android is coming in August. So questions? Yeah, if you just want to come up to the mic so everyone can hear.
Does the SDK provide the custom renderers for the view in each platform also, or you have to do that yourself?
So are you talking about that forms sample that I was showing?
Yeah, with the dots and in the camera view.
Okay, got it. Okay, so those are part of AR Core and AR Kit that actually gets shipped with Xamarin right now. So you don't even need the spatial anchors, support if you want to just make a simple local AR-based app that just, the two blog posts that I showed, they talk about how we already have that baked in Xamarin right now. So when you have Xamarin iOS and Xamarin Android in your projects, you can literally go initialize a AR view and it'll get all those dots and everything, and you can just start dropping local anchors. So that whole section of the app is driven completely by them. So it's already in there. We have support for it right now. Any other questions? Yeah, sure.
Does it use GPS at all so it can track everything? Because I know if you're in a building, I don't know how it would differentiate between the different.
Great question. So I'm not sure about the intricacies of how and what data the actual ASA system tracks. But that Cosmos DB backend that I was talking about, you could always add in columns and track that data yourself. And that's how I would actually go about with version 2 of this game and tie it and have, so right now I'm not storing GPS location because I didn't want to with GDPR, I would have to give all of you privacy, hey, I'm taking GPS location. But I think if I were to have to recreate a Pokemon Go type game, maybe we'll call it Monkey Hunt or something. But yeah, I would probably have sort of track GPS locations, and then I can actually give more notifications and information in the app itself. And oh, you're getting warmer, oh, you're getting colder, or this is close. Because yeah, I mean, you can always correlate that data, I would think. So yeah.
So when you're dropping the shapes, are you dropping them based on your actual, you're physically dropping the shape with another device? So you're dropping the shape with another mobile device that's running the Xamarin app, and then you're catching the shape with another device.
Yeah.
Instead of dropping it with a GPS and in some elevation data or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. It's yeah. So that's Azure Spatial Anchors, the service tracks and figures all that out for you. So you don't have to think about, oh, for this X and Y coordinate, do I also need to capture depth data, or oh, is it on the floor versus on the stage versus on the stage? They figure all that out for you. All you're doing and providing to that system is just the unique sort of, they give you like a unique string that they attach to each of these anchor values, and that's all you provide to the service. That's like the string in that retrieve and send API call that if you see in the code. That's what that does. So the system does all of the magics for you. You just get to, you just literally just, in the app itself, you're just doing touches, and you just like sort of track where the user dropped it, and then the system handles all of it for you. Awesome. Any more questions? No? Are you all going to play my game? Yes. Awesome. Everyone online, I'm going to have a version up for you very, very soon. Cool. So again, thank you all for coming. If you have any more questions, you want to discuss some other cool ideas or how I could make this app behave better, please come and share it with me. I'll have the slides up to share, but again, just going to show that link for MVP access. If you want to sign up, please do go ahead, and we'll get you access to those beta bits. And early August, friends, early August, everyone will get access to the Xamarin bits. So yeah, thank you so much.